Hello again, everybody. It's Scott Casper. Takedown. This interview brought to you by Blue O 04 Water and Adidas. Well, the 9th of April, it was announced that former three-time Sun Devil All-American would be the new head coach for the Sun Devils. He joins us now. Zeke Jones. Zeke, how are you?
Hey, doing well, Scott. Good to see you.
Ray Anderson is not letting the sand, as it were, shift under his feet. He's moving. This dude is hiring and making it very apparent he wants results. Athletic director at Tempe-based Arizona State has made a big statement in hiring you away from USA Wrestling.
Well, yeah, thanks, Scott. I mean, Ray's great. Don Bakke, Ray Anderson, both have made it very clear they want to see Arizona State being, a top program in the country. They're committing a tremendous amount of resources. They're increasing everything about the program, and that's why we're here.
He said that he thinks it's a tremendous day for the sport of wrestling. Well, it was a couple years ago when Sean Charles was hired, and I won't refer to Sean throughout this interview, but just as a point of reference, when he was hired, he was brought in as a bit of the history of the program. Well, you have a bit of the history of the program under your belt as well. How difficult was the decision to return to Arizona State and leave the program at USA Wrestling that you'd worked so hard to establish?
Well, it was difficult and not difficult. It was difficult because I loved USA Wrestling, working with the best wrestlers in the world. Obviously, Jake Varners and Jordan Burroughs and Brent Metcalfs, and just up and down the lineup. It was a 6-year process where when we came in '09, there was the reset button was hit. There was a lot of work to be done to rebuild the culture. America wasn't feared in '09. Now they're feared every time we go to compete around the world. And it took a long time to get it there. So to leave to leave a great community, Rich Bender, Jim Ravnak were extremely supportive throughout my time there. And so we got it built up and running. We had great team leaders, Mike Novogratz, Andy Barth. I mean, we had the machine running well, and I think the team is on the cusp of winning a world championship and will win one. Why it's easy to be here, it's pretty simple. I was born and raised here. I say that as an 18-year-old coming here to college, building my foundation for life, getting a great education, the opportunity to be on a national championship team, win a world gold medal, Olympic silver medal, and tons of things here because of the proud history and tradition of being a Sun Devil. We have a great history and tradition, as you know. And it was easy to come back here. It's beautiful. It's 85 degrees today, and we want to rebuild this program. Art Mortari, Sunkist, Ray Anderson, Don Bakke, they're not messing around. They're committing a tremendous amount of resources to get the program back to where it used to be. So we're excited about it. I'm glad to be here, and we're getting ready to do some big things.
So you bring with you tremendous accomplishments, both as an athlete and a coach. But one of the biggest challenges you brought up, 85 degrees outside. How do you motivate young men, young people, when the temperature is as beautiful as it is, as the campus is as beautiful as it is? How do you motivate them to be indoors, to be competing and preparing for competition, the likes that we've never seen really before? The competition is getting very difficult. They've got to step it up. How do you do it?
Well, Scott, what you do is you recruit the right kids. It's pretty simple. That what we want to do is recruit kids that want to win national championships, get their undergraduate degree, get their master's degree, and work on becoming a world and Olympic champion. This isn't really a 5-year program. This is going to be an 8 to 10-year program where kids can achieve all their goals. There's no ceiling here. You can become as good as you want to become here, and you can get a great education while you're becoming an NCAA champion and a world and Olympic champion. And so I think what happens, of course, the weather's nice. It's beautiful, palm trees and sunshine every day. But it's really people that are motivated to be the best in the world. That's really what this is about. We want to attract kids that have high goals in the classroom and on the wrestling mat. And there's only a very few amount of places that can do that have, the coaching, the training partners, the staff that can help people get to the top of the podium. And that's what Arizona State's going to be.
You always talked about going back to college wrestling. Are you on your timeline or somebody else's? In other words, it seems, when you took over the program at USA Wrestling, that perhaps your tenure there would be long and storied. Well, storied we got, but long, was it long enough?
Yeah, 6 years. It's interesting. College wrestling. You don't pick the job; the job generally picks you, and timing is always a critical part of it. Sometimes it can be the right place in the wrong time. It just happened to be the right place and the right time for me and my family to come to Arizona State. Sure, would I've liked to seen out the cycle, finish through Rio de Janeiro? I mean, we had great things planned. We had the World Cup coming to the United States from now to the Olympic Games. The World Championships in 2015 will be in Las Vegas next year. I mean, we really had the program teed up to do great things. And so the new coach that comes in will have that advantage, and it'll be nice for him to be able to have all the pieces in place and he can put his final stamp on it. However, a place like Arizona State doesn't come along very often, and not just Arizona State coming along, but wanting to make the commitment to be the best team in the country. And so that was the timing. And, you don't always pick the timing. The timing picks you. And right now is that time where Arizona State has said, hey, we want to be a national championship calibered program, and we want to start that now. So, and I have to say too, it wouldn't be done without Tommy Ortiz and Sean Charles. I mean, you got to think that, it was a difficult time for Arizona State, several years ago, 5, 10 years ago. As we know, it's been a difficult time for wrestling all over the world. But it's the greatest thing that ever happened. And it wouldn't have happened without Tommy Ortiz and Sean Charles keeping the program alive, and then eventually now putting it in a place where it can get back to where it used to be in the 80s and the 90s. So we owe them a lot. They saved the program, not only then saved it, but now gives it a chance to win at the highest level.
To move on, we're talking with Zeke Jones. You go back to the years when Zeke Jones was running around the mat at Iowa State taking Super 8 film footage of his brother wrestling. And, of course, he's a native of Michigan, now finding his home in Arizona State. He has moved around a bit. I must ask you about travel. Travel at the collegiate level is completely different than travel as a coach at the international level. When you travel at the international level, you're gone for a week or two or longer sometimes. How does that play for families?
Yeah, I mean that's one of the reasons, Scott, why we made the decision to come here. I mean it's a lot of travel. You're going for 2 to 3 weeks at a time to Siberia, to Iran, to Cuba, to Russia. You're going to some of the farthest places, which take you 2 days to get there, a 14-hour time change. It's 7 in the morning here, but it's 9 o'clock at night there. You're trying to switch your clock, and then you're trying to perform at the highest level. And we've been able to accomplish that. Our guys, regardless of the long travels, the 3 weeks away from home, and competing against the best wrestlers in the world, that they've been able to perform at the highest level. But I was gone by probably somewhere 41, 42 days in the last 57 days
Wow.
prior to me taking the job. And, you're basically gone all of January, February, March. You kiss your wife and your kids goodbye in December, and you see them in March. You come back home in March. And then, of course, we're seeing the U.S. Open this weekend and the World Team Trials. You're back home for a block of time, but then you're back out overseas again. So it's a lot of, it's probably 175 days of travel to do it right. If you really want to win, you've got to travel. You can't win the Worlds in Phoenix, Arizona. You got to win it in Cuba. You got to win it in Russia. You got to win it in Denmark. You got to win it in different places, Uzbekistan. So you got to get used to those conditions. And so it's hard on a family. But if you're motivated to be the best in the world, you'll travel to Mars to do it.
There's this an idea that to be the best, you should learn from the best. You have bounced around, and I say that in a generous term, bounced around from West Virginia and Arizona State and Bloomsburg and Penn and USA Wrestling and all the staffs that you volunteered on when it came to international competition as well. So you have rubbed shoulders with, you have coached in the corners with some of the best in this sport. That makes you, in many ways, uniquely qualified to be the next best head coach in the country. You feel that?
Well, we can. I don't know if I feel that. I certainly have. I do feel very fortunate to serve alongside some of the best coaches in the country, and it really in the world. I got to tell you, in the last cycle, I have to give a lot of compliments to John Smith. When we were rebuilding the Olympic program in '09, when people, it was a disarray, John was there. He had my back. He was instrumental part of helping America get back on track. And that's just one guy. Mark Manning, working alongside Cale Sanderson, Tom Brands, in the trenches with them, being a part of the United States of America. To do that has been tremendous. And it's not even just those guys. I've worked, even though you're competing against the Megomed Gasanov from Russia and Rasul Hadim from Iran and Julio Mendieta from Cuba. Those are the head coaches of their countries. And of course, we're trying to beat each other. But at the same time, there's a camaraderie amongst the global wrestling community. You're working together for the sport, even though you're trying to beat each other. You're working together. Those rivalries, USA versus Russia, Soviet Union, USA versus Cuba, USA versus Iran, those rivalries are huge for the sport of wrestling. And why wrestling is still in the Olympic program is because we are working together. And I'm fortunate enough to learn a lot from them. I've learned from every person that I've ever worked with, and I think the program's in great hands. I think we've got good people that are still trying to help America. Right now, I'm turning my focus to Arizona State and helping the program here.
So, knowing that, keeping that in mind, going back to what you've just talked about, those that have helped you, the John Smiths, the Mark Mannings, etc., will you be there for USA Wrestling as an auxiliary coach, an ancillary coach, however you wish to describe it, a volunteer coach? Will you be there to assist in the handover, to assist in the coaching of the athletes that you've helped to bring along and those that will come along in the future?
Yeah, sure. My goal doesn't change for the American wrestling program. It's still to help them win World Olympic medals. I'm just going to do it from a different chair now. We're going to become what we hope is one of the top regional training centers in the United States where World and Olympic athletes are training here. We have the commitment from Sunkist Kids and Art Mortari. Art Mortari understands the vision of how to create that. And so what we're going to do is essentially marry the Sunkist program, Titan Mercury, New York Athletic Club here with Arizona State. And then we're going to serve the United States Wrestling Program from Phoenix, Arizona. And our goal is simple, to help put guys on the World Olympic team and help America advance the program to be the best team in the world. And that's how we did it, Scott, over the last 6 years, is strengthen our regional training centers, support those regional training centers around the country to serve the American program. And we're going to do that here at Arizona State.
It's not often a coach comes into a program already a distinguished member of the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, but in this case, that's exactly what's happened. You're also a member of the Arizona State University Hall of Fame and Michigan Wrestling Hall of Fame. I believe Art Mortari in the next 24 hours or so will become a new member of the Arizona Sports Hall of Fame. How important was Art Mortari in your decision to come back to Arizona State?
Oh, it's instrumental. I wouldn't have came here without Art's support and certainly his vision. I mean, he was the guy that created this model. He created the model of, like I'd mentioned, marrying a regional training center and a national club with a university, knowing that that relationship would produce national champions and World Olympic champions. So that was the discussion we had a week ago. He was very clear that he wanted to see that happen again here at Arizona State. I wouldn't have done it without it, because that's how we win national championships. It's how we get the best recruits in the country. As you know, the best kid in the country coming out of high school doesn't just want to be a national champion. He does want to be a national champion, but he wants to be a world and Olympic champion. Art knows how to do that. He's done it. We've had over 55 world and Olympic medalists on Sunkist. John Smith, Kenny Monday, Kendall Cross. Melvin Douglas, Townsend Saunders. The list goes on and on. And Art knows how to do that. He's a visionary. He's probably the most influential person in the sport of wrestling that didn't put the singlet on at the Olympic Games or coach the team. He leads, his vision is through leadership and truly caring about people and helping them achieve their goals. So we got a lot of work to do. I know he's real fired up about it. You should talk to him. He's made it very clear that we're going to get this program back in contention, and Sunkist is going to be a big part of that.
In closing, everybody has their own personal team, and you as well. Jessica, David, Rebecca, Jacob, and Renee. How was their response when this first was tabled at the kitchen in the kitchen of the Jones home?
Renee almost had a heart attack because, she wants to live here. I mean, we love Phoenix. So we were going to retire here after I was done coaching. And I told that to Ray Anderson in front of a lot of people. I said, hey, Ray, we're going to, our goal was to retire in Phoenix. And now we're coming here. And he said, oh, but you can't retire. I said, don't worry, Ray, I'm not retiring. My wife might start retiring now that she's here, but we have a lot of high goals here before, we decide to sit out at the pool and, enjoy the warm breeze and the air, flowing through the palm trees. But my wife, she was so excited about being at Arizona State, being in Phoenix. This is her final destination.
Arizona State looks good on you.
Thanks. We love it on us.
Congratulations on your new position. And on a personal note, for being that guy during a very difficult time that this sport faced, February 12th of 2013, you shouldered it well. You defended it well. You brought it back. You were part of a very important process that I am very proud to be having been a part of. But to have you as one of the leaders of that effort, I can't tell you thank you enough. But I know you'll take and carry on your efforts and your duties with Arizona State with that in mind. But on a personal note, thank you very much for all that you've done and all that you will do. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thanks, Scott. That really means a lot. Obviously, it was a scary last year, but wrestling got stronger from it. Obviously, you were a huge part of that. Everyone in America and around the world globally rallied together, and now we're on firm footing, and I see our sport growing and expanding. Arizona State University, increased commitment. West Virginia University, increased commitment. USA Wrestling, increased commitment. It's happening all over the world. It's a global renaissance for the sport of wrestling right now.
Zeke Jones, I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Scott.
God bless you. Zeke Jones, for all of us. This interview has been brought to you by Blue O4 Water. It's creative water. It means business. And, of course, by our friends at Adidas. We appreciate you watching. Thank you so much.